welcome to your favorite Novi podcast, Now You Novi. I actually saw Victor. Victor, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
I actually saw that we are now promoting ourselves thanks to our amazing social media guru and deputy director of communications as the #1 Novi podcast. How do you feel about that?
I am ecstatic about that. And it's, we have claimed the top perch of the podcast Novi like we should have. So it's really exciting.
I don't even know if there are any other really Novi podcasts.
You know what? That's a good exercise we should try to conduct to see if there's anyone else in Novi having a podcast.
Yeah. A weekly podcast.
A weekly podcast, exactly.
Weekly podcast. Big weekend. Like, it's Tuesday. We tape this. We've talked about this on Tuesday mornings, but I feel like it's just, there's so much going on. We had a busy week last week, and then we worked on Saturday for the better part of the day at goal setting. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I think it was really a great workshop, if you would, a time that we spent together. And how you feeling about it?
Yeah, no, feeling really good. Like you said, it was a workshop, so it's kind of an opportunity for City Council to kind of dive in and not do the kind of ceremonial other stuff in terms of approving the warrant or whatnot. We still have public comment and whatnot, but it was a way for them to kind of put their thoughts on paper in terms of what they want to see in the next year or two, or even in long term, and really kind of give us some direction regarding the budget, which we're in full swing of creating. So yeah, I mean, we have, we have 2 new council members. We have a new mayor. So there's a lot of change, a lot of different perspective being put out there. So it was really good to kind of get their feelings. We had a great facilitator that helped us guide us through the day and looking at getting some feedback on some short-term stuff, 1 to 2 years, and then 3 to 5 and beyond, as well as we looked at some big transformative projects like, Beck Road and ITC and a public safety facility, older adult needs, all that kind of stuff. So it was really good, and looking forward to synthesizing those goals and those aspirations, because as we go through it, we look at grouping some of those stuff together. Because, some people might have the same kind of thing. So we group it together, and we don't really have the time to kind of wordsmith it. So staff will now go back and kind of clarify some of those goals and then bring it back to City Council for their ultimate approval and confirmation, which is really just making sure this is what you guys were talking about and thinking about. But you and your colleagues and I will all sit down and look at how we can expand upon that and create work plans, if you will, about how we would make those things achievable.
Any surprises? Was there anything like, we will have this all available to the public. Obviously, Victor mentioned that this is going to come back for confirmation or approval, if you would, by City Council, that they, actually take a look at the categories and short and long term and making sure that what staff heard is exactly what they intended. But was there any surprises to you, Victor? Like, did anything jump off the page or the screen and go, wow, okay, that's something different, or maybe a direction that, I don't want to say we weren't headed, but maybe that should have a little more priority than we had originally intended?
I don't think there was too much any kind of surprise. There's some things that we had kind of reminds us, hey, we might need to get information back out to our council members about initiatives that we're already doing. So, for example, there was a goal out there to put sensitive those autistic sensitive bags in each of the cars.
Oh, yep.
So sensitivity awareness bag. So if a police officer rolls up to on a scene and there's a person that's on the spectrum, they have these bags that with earphone with headsets and whatnot to help them if there's any kind of situation. And our council members didn't know those were already in our squad cars. So that kind of stuff, our prior work at Shawwood Lake or the pond over there, all those kind of things, it's like we just need to somehow make sure we get that materials out to City Council to kind of just let them know what's already being done operationally throughout our organization.
Yeah, so that goes to your point to having new council members, right? Like an initiative, I can think of an employee. We had a former employee that actually brought that for my goodness, maybe 5 years ago. And then you have a council member that's been here just, 2, 3, 4 years, and they say, hey, we see Farmington Hills is doing this great thing. Well, that's great. You're right. We've been doing it for 5+ years. And unless they saw that original memo or know someone that has used that service, they might not be aware. Yeah, there was a few that came to mind like that, a few issues out, traffic concerns, but do they really know, like, staff has recommended against it, a study has been done. I- are we really going to make a goal of something that staff and a study says doesn't warrant it? Like, so it's that education piece on city staff's part, etc.
Yeah.
Part of the new onboarding is hopefully our directors, when they meet with these new council members, will go through some of that and where services and programs that we provide, right?
Exactly. And it's not untoo common that we experience that with new employees as well. So
Right.
someone might come in and say, hey, let's do this. Like, well, that's great. Well, we're already got this going on, or we did that a little bit ago. And not saying that we can't try something again, but we have a history of it, and let's dig up those materials, that research that was already done to help educate whoever is looking into that.
So exciting. These goals actually will set the foundation maybe for some city work, not just for 2024, but short-term goals are what, Victor?
1 to 2 years.
Okay.
And then the long-term goals, and again, we have 3 buckets that we put these all into. The long-term is more of a 3 to 5 years.
Okay. And then the transformative, excuse me, projects are definitely long-term vision. Those I think are things that I look at the ring road, like, how long did we talk about a ring road as a transformative project, right? Like 10 years,
It was a
maybe?
long time, yeah.
And got a few of the legs. The ring road around Grand River and Novi Road intersection is what I'm referring to. The northeast quadrant was always there with Crescent around the town center, etc. And then the Main Street, I guess Main and Main is always so funny. But the western side, I mean, it seemed like we talked about it forever and getting the funding in place. And there's a handful, literally 5 or 6 projects that are very similar that will have a great impact on the community, that you were really looking to see where council's pulse was on those and what was important.
Exactly.
So are we going to share that data too? Are we going to share what those projects are in some type of way? Or
Yeah, I think that'll be included in the correspondence we sent out to City Council. Part of those were work that's being currently conducted by the Older Adults Needs Committee and the Public Safety Needs Committee, which at last night's meeting was just reaffirmed for a year. We don't think they're going to take a year to kind of report back to council, but it's just giving them that latitude to take the time they need to wrap up their work and present back to City Council. So I think it's going to be just a working process, and some of those transformative goals are tied to the work done from those committees. So we'll see what those committees report back out, and then we'll be off and running on those things.
exciting. We've said it before. We're blessed in Novi to have these opportunities. Many communities are I don't want to say struggling, but they do. They're challenged to, just day-to-day operation work, let alone and I don't want to say stay afloat, but keep up. We are looking out at 10, 15, 20 years and how we can continue to improve and invest in ourselves, be it roads, be it parks, be it new facilities. So we're very fortunate.
For sure. And it's all the hard work from their staff and their councils and boards and commission members from the years past that have really kind of set ourselves up to be in this successful area. So we're really fortunate to have those individuals from our history to kind of pave the way for us. And we're just looking to do the same for people that follow us in the future.
That's great. There's a topic everyone's talking about. It's that time of year. We've dodged the white bullet, if you will, the snowballs. Say it isn't snow. It's here this week, and I think it's important to tell people. We did a social media post last night. We get the information as it comes to us from the National Weather Service, our Department of Public Works team. keeps totally abreast of what their forecasts are, what the trends are, the patterns. And we expected to wake up this morning to snow covered roadways. And here we were. We had a crew ready to come in at 4 a.m. to ensure that the rush hour, was as painless as possible for our residents and those traveling from other places here that might work here. But it sounds like this week we're going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like the forecasts are all over the map, literally and figuratively, but in terms of what we could experience. So, but just rest assured that our crews are ready to go. We do have plenty of salt. That's one thing that we have known that we haven't used that much salt this season, and we have lots of it that we have contractually obligated to buy. So we'll definitely be using that all across the roadways as whatever accumulation we get. So you're right. This we didn't get a big snowfall today, but we might get another one on Friday or Saturday.
So I think my recommendation for people is to sign up for Nixle, nixle.com, nixle.com. You put in your address or your community. You can sign up for emergency alerts as they come. As the conditions warrant, our public safety, public works team coordinate any emergency messages that we might share. But other than that, our City of Novi Facebook, our cityofnovi.org website is where we share the most up-to-date information on conditions and how many crews we have out. We try to be as forthcoming as possible, letting people know, hey, we've been on the major roads. Our majors would be our mile roads, our Novi Road, Beck Road, Taft, our major roads, and keeping those open before, during any major incidents, we go into the neighborhoods. Incidents, I won't say storms, but events or incident events. I think they call them events. I'm calling them incidents, but events are categorized a minor or a long duration. And is it 1 to 3 inches and 3 and above, I believe, and the duration of an event as well as to when we get into our neighborhoods. But all of that information is shared on social media. So it's a great way to stay up to date on what's occurring, how the condition of the roads, etc.
cityofnovi.org/snow lists everything that Cheryl was talking about. Our category 1 clearing policy that's less than 3 inches and less, and then category 2 is greater than 3 inches. So all that information's on there, as well as information about how to shake your mailbox and make sure that's ready for snowfall. Yep. So as always, take a look at our website. There's all the great information that it holds.
So and I do want to give a big shout out in advance because our DPW team, our snow team, those that drive the trucks that help maintain our sidewalks, our roadways, etc., they are really unsung heroes throughout all of this. I challenge you to go to any other community and find a team that does it better. Everybody that works for the city or people that work at other organizations, they always say they know when they hit our city limits that our roads are typically in really, really good shape. So there, I've thrown the little seed out there and said, you know what, let's keep it up, because I do think we take pride in the way we maintain our roads during a snow event, and my hat is off to each and every one of them. They do a phenomenal job.
For sure. They are our top-notch crew that, they go out there and they clear a great path for our drivers and our visitors.
So, anything else you wanna send us off with today?
I think that's it. Looking forward to just pack your patience as always, and just.
Would we be remiss, Victor, if we didn't say hell yeah, or I can't say the go.
The Go Blue, yeah. So yeah, it was a big win last night. A very happy Cardinals household with my son being a big Wolverines fan, my wife working for the university for 10 years. I may have grown up a Wolverines fan, so But yeah, very excited. Good national championship to have here in the States. So for all of our Michigan listeners, go blue. Hail.
There's a lot of football work left to do, though, in the state of Michigan. Set those good vibes to the Lions. And let's say, I mean, it's going to be a big weekend here football-wise. With the Staffords coming back to Detroit.
We are like venturing into a sports podcast. This is fantastic.
I know.
Yeah. So
who would have ever thought that Victor and Cheryl would be talking sports? But it's just a super exciting time.
It is.
You know, that spirit bleeds over here into our city staff, and everybody wore their maize and blue yesterday. On Friday, I'm sure we'll all be donning our Lions, our Honolulu blue. It's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fun. So we'll end on a congrats to all of our friends and fans who bleed maize and blue, and go Lions.
Go Lions.
There you have it. Now
you know why.